Hello, everybody. Welcome. Welcome to Tuesday Night Live with independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator Teresa Harper. I'm located in Oregon in the United States. Thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate you. Let's see who we have on. We'll wait just a minute or two and then we'll get started. Do we? Hopefully. Come on, Facebook. Why are you? There we go. There we go. How come my page isn't available right now? Thank you. That would be really nice. Come on. Okay, I do not understand. Okay, let's try this. Hang on, you guys. I cannot get Facebook up on my laptop. It shows me the video, but then it tells me when I try to get to the comments that it can't show me that. So let's try it on my iPad and see what happens. Or let's try, I don't know. Okay, why is it doing that? Am I not live? Okay, hello, Cynthia. Okay. What is the problem? This just will not process. Okay, hang on. Technical problems. I do not know what Facebook's problem is for me tonight, but we're going to figure it out. And let's see. Let me go to groups. Well, we're just going to go here. It's not going to show me. Gosh darn. Okay, let's go here because I shared it to the group. So maybe I can watch here. Okay, there we go. Let me see if I can get to the comments. You're not going to let me in the comment? There we go. Yay. Okay, well, I can't get it on my laptop, but I can get it on my iPad. So I'm going to try to load. It's much easier to see everything on my laptop if I can get this to work. Let me see. Come on. This is going to work. I just went out and came back in. Nope, will not let me process it. Absolutely will not. What is wrong with that? Okay, and then I can't really see the comments on my iPad either. It won't give me them. What is the deal? Come on, live chat. All right. This is a little frustrating. Okay, back. All right, well, I need to be able to see the comments. Why is it not letting me do that? Oh, okay, give me 1 second. 1 second. see if I can find this video. Menu, groups. Why doesn't it work? Okay, I don't know what to do, you guys. I'm not going to be able to see comments. Apparently, it's just not going to let me. Which is why I never use the iPad, because it doesn't let me look at. Okay, let's go here. All right. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. Okay, it shows me the live. Okay, there we go. Oh, now what did it do? I hope you guys can hear me. Hello, I can see you and hear you at this end. Okay, good. That's good. Thank you. Okay, so, I need to disconnect. Okay, now, hopefully you can hear me now, Cynthia. Oh my gosh, I'm struggling here with this technology. What is wrong? Why is Facebook being so stinky? Okay, let me go here again. Come on. Okay, let's try it again. Oh, there I go. Whew, now I've got the comments. Okay, good. Okay, good. Now I can shut down the iPad because it was interfering with my AirPods working on my phone. Okay, good. Thank you for hanging in there with me. Appreciate you. Okay, so here's your last reminder for the 25 to 27 in color product sale that finishes on August 31st. That's coming right up in just 4 days, 5 days, 5 days. We are going to be doing some sneak peeks this week from the mini catalog and online exclusives product list. These will be released to the public on September 3rd. So our first card this evening is going to be combining More Than Autumn with the homemade treats. This is currently available right now in my online store. The homemade treats bundle will be available beginning September 3rd. And we're going to make a couple of cards using these. Well, one with this and two with this. And so let's go ahead and get started. Okay. Woo. All right. So here is our supplies. And let me put my sample card so I can see what I did. In addition, we're also going to be using the Etched Autumn stamp set. This is a background stamp set. It's not in here. Good question. Where is it? Because I don't think it's, well, hopefully it's in here. No, it is not, and we need it. So where did I, oh, there it is. Okay, it's on my Stamparatus. Whew. Okay, freaked out for a minute because it wasn't in the case. It's a background stamp. This is a cling rubber. And as a reminder, in case you didn't see my post, all of our stamps are going to photopolymer beginning with the November online exclusives. And so anything that comes out in the mini catalog that's in cling rubber will only go through December. Well, actually January 4th. And then once the inventory is gone, it's gone. Okay, so anything cling rubber is going to be that way, because Stampin' Up! Has had some difficulty getting the raw materials required to make the rubber stamps at a quality that they're willing to make them at. So that's where we're at with those. And so let's get started today. We've got a card base that's an A2 size, 5.5 by 8.5. I've scored it in the center at 4.25. That's going to be our card base. This is pecan pie, in case I didn't say that. So we're going to set that aside because we don't need it at the moment. And we're going to start working on our main focal piece, which is 3 3/4 by 5. And we're going to do some ink blending with this. So we're going to bring in some ink pads. Well, let's turn this one around. Oh, actually, I need to turn them around this way. Timid Tiger, Poppy Parade, Old Olive, and Darling Duckling is what we're using for those colors. I'm going to start with Old Olive. I'm going to bring in a blending brush. And I'm just going to do some random splotches here. Okay. And then I'm going to move to Darling Duckling. And again, I'm going to do some random splotches. I can always go back and add more, but I can't take it off. We're going to move to Timid Tiger. And let me get that out of my ink pad, because we don't need that. That's going to make a mess somewhere along the line tonight. Let's add some Timid Tiger. And then we're going to add some Poppy Parade. Okay. And it's okay to overlap your colors. Just when you're overlapping, make sure that it doesn't muddy the color. Okay. I'm going to go back and add just a little bit more yellow here, the Daffodil Delight, and right there. Okay, now it's going to be the start of our background. Let's move these out of the way for the moment. Clean this up. The little chamois that comes with the glass mat. It actually is quite a bit bigger than what I have, but I've cut mine into 4. And this Glass Mat Studio is available in my online store. Okay, so we've got that. Now we're going to bring in the Stamparatus. And yes, I know this is retired, but I'm going to use it anyway. And I've already pre-stamped here, which this will just show me where to put my cardstock when I'm ready. But before I do that, I'm going to ink this up with Early Espresso. And then I'm going to stamp it off, because this is supposed to be my background. And I don't want it to be full strength. It's not supposed to overpower what I'm trying to do. So I've stamped it off, and now I'm going to bring in that piece that we ink blended, and we're going to stamp that down and just give that a good press. Okay. All right. I missed a spot right there. Let's see if we can get that. I don't think it's going to matter because it's probably going to be covered, but there we go. Okay, now I'm happy with that. So let's go ahead and set this aside because we're done with that. Okay. So this is our background piece. Now we can go ahead and add this to our card. And I'm just going to use some Stampin' Seal for that. And we're going to add this right on and center it up as best we can. And this is just going to be our focal background. Okay, so that's ready to go. Now, from the Branching Out dies, this is a new product coming in the September to December mini. It actually has a stamp set that goes with it, but I didn't get the stamp set. I just got the dies. And I'm going to use a piece of, this is a piece of the Country Woods Designer Series paper, which, as it says, it's all wood backgrounds. And I've chosen this one, and this is cut with the second largest, nope, the third largest, or the third smallest, I'm sorry. There are 6 dies, and this is the third from the smallest. Okay, so I've cut that out. This is going to kind of be our cutting board. Okay. And you're going to see that die set again. And then we've got another piece of the Country Woods paper. We're going to stamp on this, and then we're going to punch it out. So let's go ahead and do that now. We're going to take some early espresso ink. We're going to take the sentiment "'Tis the Season," which apparently I don't have out. Oh, yes, I do. Hang on. Okay. All right. So we're going to go ahead. I've made myself a template to make this easier on myself. And I'm going to take the sign design label punch. This is part of a bundle called Sign Design coming in the new online exclusives, I think. Let me double check that for you. Let's see if I can find that stamp set real quick. This is an online exclusive, and this is the stamp set that goes with it. So you can purchase those in a bundle beginning September 3rd. Okay. And so I'm just going to take, I want the more white piece of this, and I'm just going to punch that out. Okay. And then I've already made myself a template, and really all I did with this was I just took a piece of white paper and punched it out, and then I lined up my stamp so that I would know exactly where to stamp this. Okay. But we're going to do some masking on this because I don't want it to say "'Tis the season for baking." So we're going to go ahead and get some masking tape here. You can use washi tape, whatever you like. This is too wide. Hang on. I guess I need the narrower stuff. I thought I could have swore I used this, but apparently not. Okay, we'll use this stuff. Okay, and I'm going to cover this all the way here. And this is a little bit tricky because you've got some pieces here and here that stick below, so you have to make up for those and run your tape just a little bit on the crooked side and do it in pieces. The nice thing though is that with this, then it just stays together all as one piece. So when you go to pull it off, it's just one piece. Okay, so I'm just going to stick that down like that. I've got that all masked off. Okay, and then we're going to ink this up. And then I'm going to pull that masking tape off. Okay, and throw it in the trash so it doesn't get everywhere. And then I'm going to stamp this down. Just make sure I get that good. Okay, so now I have the sign that says "'Tis the," and there's a blank for baking. Okay, so we can set this aside. Because we don't need that. And what we're going to do is we're going to take some Poppy Parade cardstock and die cut from More Than Autumn the word season. Okay, so that's in the More Than Autumn stamp and die bundle. Here's the word season right here, and I just die cut that out of Poppy Parade. And by the way, the font from More Than Autumn and the font from Handmade Treats are the same. Okay, so this is going to fit in here perfectly. And we're just going to take this, I'm going to add a few drops of Tombow multi-purpose liquid glue. I've just put it into a fine tip bottle that my friend gifted me. I love this little bottle. Okay, so we're just going to do that. And then we're just going to add this right here like that. Press that down and set that aside to dry. Okay, so far we've got our sign, we've got our cutting board, and our card base. Now, from the homemade treats, I cut this die right here out of basic beige. And then I took and stamped from More Than Autumn these three little images in here. And then I took the matching dies, the coordinating dies, and I cut those out. So I have cookie dough ready to go. Okay. I also took, and on basic beige, I did all this ahead of time to save time because this is quite involved as far as die cutting goes, and I didn't want to keep you here all day. So I also cut and stamped on basic beige. I did 6 of these in crumb cake on the basic beige. These ones I also stamped in crumb cake on basic beige. So you actually need 3 apples and 3 pumpkins and 3 hearts. Okay, and then I colored one of the apples, hearts, and pumpkins in these Stampin' Blends. Okay, so I used Darling Duckling and the Old Olive combos on the apple. I used the Poppy Parade combo on the heart, and I used Timid Tiger on the pumpkin. Okay, so we've got that. So we've got all those pieces. Then from silver foil, I cut the cookie sheet from Homemade Treats. That's this die right here. Okay. And then on basic white, I've stamped the glove in Old Olive, the oven mitt, not the glove, the oven mitt, pecan pie for the rolling pin, and basic beige and basic gray for the tip. I want to show you how I did that. So I'm going to grab a piece of, I know I've got a scrap piece here, or I thought I did. Okay, let's see if this is going to be wide enough. Yes. Okay, so let's take the icing bag, and we're going to take some basic beige ink and some basic gray. Okay. I'm going to ink this up in basic beige. Now, this is a red rubber, so I can't see through it, but I'm going to, you could mask this off and do it that way, or you can just eyeball it like this. I got to go a little bit further up. Get that just a little bit. See, now I've got that all good. All right. And then I'm going to set my basic beige aside, and I'm going to add basic gray. And because basic gray is darker than basic beige, if I get a little basic beige on my basic gray, it won't matter. Okay. So then I've got the two-toned, and there is my decorating bag. Okay, and that's how I got that. Now when that dries, it will dry lighter. Okay, so now we've got those pieces, and we're ready to start putting this card together. That's all of our pieces. Okay, so we're going to bring back in our card base and take our cutting board here. Going to take our sign and put it up about right there. And then we'll throw in our dough on the cutting board right there. And we need our cookie sheet. And we're going to take these cookies, just the basic gray uncolored, or the basic beige uncolored. And we're going to place those on our cookie sheet. I put these, when I got done cutting them, I put them on glue dots so I didn't lose them. And then we're just going to add these to our cookie sheet so we can bake them on up. Okay, so we've got that. Let's see. So this is now ready. We're going to put this on here, just below our cookie dough, and then we're going to add our other pieces. So let's go ahead and start gluing down. This is going to go flat with some Stampin' Seal. this kind of lower. Okay. And then we're going to pop our sign up. And remove our wax paper backing. And I'm going to set this about right here. I want to make sure that I get that on straight and I leave a little bit of color showing there. And I did not press that down hard so that I can move it if I need to. And then again, I'm going to put my cookie sheet down. Oh, but before I do that, I need to put down my cookie dough so I know where to put my cookie sheet. Just going to use a little bit of liquid Tombow here so that I can get around those cookie cutouts. And then we'll just put this about right there. Now we'll add our cookie sheet at an angle. Okay. And then we're going to take our rolling pin and we're going to pop that up. On dimensionals. Kind of like that. Kind of like that. We're going to pop up our oven mitt. About like that. Just make sure it doesn't hang off the edge of your card. And then we're going to pop up our decorator bag. I'm going to put that down here. You know what? I didn't cut that out very good, and that's going to bother me. So I'm just going to give this a little trim with my paper snip so that I don't have that excess white. I do this a lot instead of re-stamping and recutting. If I don't get it just perfect, it's okay. I just fix it. Okay, so we're going to put that down here. And then we're going to finish this off with some paper embellishments with some decorated cookies. Okay. And there is the front of our card. All right. Now for the inside of our card, when I was doing ink blending, I took a second piece of basic white and I stamped that same etched autumn stamp and did the ink blending and then stamped it just like I showed you earlier. And then I took from More Than Autumn and I stamped the cup from More Than Autumn right on the inside of my card layer. I did that in early espresso and then I colored the cup in crumb cake. Then I stamped the cup again, but only this portion in early espresso on this piece. And I'll show you how I did that. So we're just going to take this and I'll ink it up. And then we're just going to stamp it wherever we want. Pick your spot, pick your color. Okay. You don't need the whole cup. So a little piece of this will go a long way if you're going to make multiples. And then you're just going to take and cut this out, but you're not going to leave any white or anything on the outside. You want to cut right on the line, or the outside of the line, like so. Okay, and then you're just going to layer that on there like that. And actually, I like this one a little bit better, so I'm going to layer that right over the top of that and give that a double layer because I kind of like that red color in there a little bit better. The Poppy Parade. Just going to lay that right there with some liquid glue. And then I stamped and die cut. I stamped in Basic Beige the whipped cream stamp from More Than Autumn on white, and then there's a die for that. Cut that out, and this is the inside of my card. Okay, and then we're just going to add this to the inside, and this is 3 5/8 by 4 7/8. It's my standard inside layer because I can get 5 of these from one sheet of 8.5 by 11. And then for the envelope, I stamped an oven mitt and the rolling pin in the same colors, Old Olive and Pecan Pie, that I used on the front of the card. And there is card number 1. I hope you like that. I wanted to show you with this that even though you're doing homemade treats, which looks like Christmas, when you combine it with More Than Autumn and the etched autumn background, that does not say Christmas at all. Okay? And of course, just by changing the colors, you can use that for any season because, hey, you could bake for a birthday, right? Aw, Cynthia, I'm so glad you like that. Okay, so let's get on to card number 2. Now, this next card I did make Christmassy. So again, it uses the handmade treats, but we're not using More Than Autumn. We are still using the branching out dies. That's going to be our sentiment base. And then our color palette for this one is Secret Sea, Pool Party, Cherry Cobbler, and Pretty in Pink. Okay, now you might wonder where I came up with that. And we are using the Traditions of Christmas Designer Series paper. This will also be available in the upcoming mini catalog. And the color palette for this is Cherry Cobbler, Old Olive, Pool Party, Real Red, Secret Sea, and Gold. This is a beautiful pack of paper. We're just going to be using a very small piece, a couple of small pieces. We're going to be using this pattern, and on the back of that is this beautiful pattern. And then you've got this pattern with this one with this one. This one coordinates with dies, and the back of that is a stripe. And then we've got this one, and the back of that is a diagonal stripe in Secret Sea. And then I've showed you this one. We're going to use it. And there we are. That's all the patterns. Okay. So let's put that away. So I got my color palette mostly from the paper, but then I threw in Pretty in Pink. Okay. So we're going to use a sketch that I got from Kitchen Table Stamper, Marissa Alvarez. And I'm going to change it up just a bit. We're going to take a piece of Secret C cardstock. This is standard 5.5 by 8.5, and I'm scoring it at 4.25 because I didn't pre-do that for some reason. Okay, so we've got that. And we can go ahead and fold and burnish that. All right. And then we've got a piece of the Traditions of Christmas Designer Series paper. This piece is cut at 2.5 by 5 inches. We have another piece of the Traditions of Christmas paper, and this piece is cut at 1/2 inch by 5 inches. And then I have a piece of Pool Party cardstock, and this one is cut at 1.25 by 5 inches, and I ran this through the Snowflake 3D embossing folder. Okay, so we've got that. This is currently available in my online store. And then to make it easier for me, we are taking a piece of, apparently I didn't do the inside of this card. Okay, so this is 3 3/4 by 5, I hope. 3 3/4 by 5. You could do this without this piece of cardstock, but it's so much easier if you do it this way. So I'm going to take my red polka dot piece here, cherry cobbler, and I'm going to put this right here on this 3 3/4 by 5 piece, all the way to the right hand side. Okay, then I'm going to add the Pool Party embossed piece. This is the 1 1/4 by 5. Oh man, I got a clog. Hang on 1 second. I left that open too long, apparently. I'll just take a pin and unclog that. Put that out of the way. I always keep a package of pins here close, just so I can clear out a clog like that. Okay. And then I'm going to butt this piece up against my cherry cobbler piece here and try to make sure that I don't have any white showing. All right. And then I'm going to add this strip of the Designer Series paper. Right along this edge. Come on. Where are you clogged? I gotta get that clog out of there, but I don't want a big old glob here. Okay. So I'm going to take and add this so that it's a little more on the cherry cobbler side than on the Pool Party side. Okay, and that's just going to cover up where those two came together. Give that a good press. And then we're going to add a ribbon treatment to this before we go any further. So I'm going to take some of the Real Red and White Baker's Twine. We had this last year and it carried over. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to wrap it next to my Designer Series paper about 3 times. And then I'm going to bring this up here, about right here, and I'm going to tie this up. And what I'm going to do, because I don't want to fight this later, is I'm just going to tie a knot. I'm not going to tie a bow. I'm going to tie a knot, try to keep that nice and taut. And of course it's going to be come on. Okay. Yay. All right. So then I'm just going to tie that off right there like that. Okay. Now I can move this however I need to. I'm going to spread these out a little bit. And tighten that up a bit right there. Okay. So we've got this piece. And now we can go ahead and add this to our card. Oh, we better not do that because we might need to move this up a bit so that it hides. I think I better do that now. If you need to move your dot, just fold this up a bit and then move it. Okay, it'll slide right where you want it to go. All right, so that's probably more about where I need that. Okay, so now we need to do some stamping. So I've got one of those branching out dies. This is the smallest, I believe. Yes, and I've cut that in basic white. Okay. And then we need some more basic white to do a little bit of stamping. Okay. So we're going to take the Pool Party ink. Where'd my palette go? So we've got Pool Party. And we're going to stamp the, let me get this stuff out of the way. Stamp the rolling pin and Pool Party. And then we're going to clean this real quick. Nope, we don't need this one. We're going to take the oven mitt. This is why I didn't stamp it earlier, because you didn't need to watch me stamp it twice, right? And we're going to stamp this in Secret C. All right. And then we're going to take Gingerbread Man. And let's get the little ones here. We've got Cherry Cobbler for the Santa hat. These are going to be our cookies. Okay. And then our candy cane, I'm throwing in Pretty in Pink. Even though that isn't in the paper, it fit with what I was trying to do. Okay, and then we need pecan pie. Okay, so now we're going to take our little gingerbread guy. All right, and then let's go ahead and stamp our sentiment while we're at it. And all of these stamps are from the Homemade Treats. And the sentiment is, it's beginning to taste like Christmas. So I'm going to ink this up. And I'm going to stamp this over to the left. Okay, so we've got that. And then you're going to take the coordinating dies from Homemade Treats and cut all of those out. But to save us some time, so we weren't here all night, I've already done that. And here are our pieces. Okay, So we've got all of those. Now let's go ahead and start putting our card together. I'm going to start by, I'm going to do this. I'm going to put this here. I think I'm good with where that's at right there. So I'm going to go ahead and add this to my card base. Like this. Okay. Then we're going to pop this up with some dimensionals. And let's put about 4 on here. And we're going to put that at a little bit of an angle. Oh, I wasn't careful. I forgot I needed to be careful on this. Okay, I need to put this one this way and this one a little more over there. And that way it will straddle. Did I not do it right yet? No, I did it right. Okay, we got it. I'm going to spread this out just a tiny, there we go. Just a tiny little bit there. All right, so we've got that. Now, before we go, let's see. Let's go ahead. We're going to put this on. And we're going to pop that up. So let's take some dimensionals here. You get these just right. They fit. Got to kind of work them around, though. So that the flat sides are there. Okay, so we're going to put this in here, kind of like this. Before we go any further, though, let's go ahead and put our ribbon treatment on here. Okay, so I'm going to confess, I'm using a retired product. Hopefully you have this on hand, Cherry Cobbler in gold. And I took this. You could use any Cherry Cobbler or real red ribbon that you have. I took mine and cut it in half. Okay, I don't have the new shiny trim that's in the new catalog. I didn't get it. And I'm just going to take 2 of these. That was just one length that I cut in half. And then I'm going to tie this in a bow with these 2 pieces. It's a little tricky when you've got extra ends. Normally I take one and wrap it twice, but I didn't on this one. I kind of like the way it looked this way. So I'm just going to tie that up like that. Okay. Spread apart my 2 pieces here. I like to do mine on my, well, that one doesn't want to cooperate. Okay, we're not going to take that too far because we're going to need it again. Then I'm going to take a glue dot. And I'm going to add this here. Just set that there. Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and pull any strays that'll let me pull. And this is how I fix that if they don't pull off. Okay, so I've got that. Then I'm going to take that real red and white twine again. Okay, what did I do with that roll that I had? Right here. I'm going to take this again. And I'm going to go one down from what I just did. I think I did that. Yep, I'm down one already. I moved it. Okay. And I'm going to tie that in a double. And then we'll trim that up. And then I'm going to take and put this on a glue dot. Okay. I'm going to scrunch that with my tweezers, and then I'm going to add it right over the top of my cherry cobbler ribbon. Okay. Then I'm going to take both of these together. I'm going to add this to a second glue dot here, just to give it an extra stability. And then I'm going to take this and add the whole thing to my card right here. Okay, just like that. And then we're going to tie this up, or trim this up, I mean, not tie it up, trim it up. Just like that. Okay, now we can go ahead and add the rest of our pieces here. And again, we're going to add our oven mitt with some dimensionals. I'm going to keep my dimensionals on my oven mitt down a bit because I'm going to set this over the top of my rolling pin, which is already popped up. And I'm just going to put that just like that. Wait a minute. Okay. I don't think I went down far enough. Or maybe what I need to do is take it a little bit higher. There. I'll just take it a little bit higher right there. So it sits like that. Then I'm going to take my gingerbread man. I'm going to add him right here. A little bit of liquid glue. I'm going to take my Santa hat and I'm going to pop this up on a glue dot. Just going to give it a little bit of extra depth right there. And then we're going to take a mini glue dot for the candy cane. And all I have left on this sheet, oh no, I've got one tiny little one right here. I'm going to put that right there. I'm going to put a tiny bit of glue right here at the end. And I'm going to add this right here, like so. And we are almost finished with this card. So let's do our finishing touches. We're going to bring in the real red and white peppermints. These are also a carryover from last year. And I'm going to take, they come in 3 sizes. I'm going to take a small one and a medium one. And then I'm going to take one of the large ones and I'm going to stick it down here. And there is the front of our second card. Okay. Now let's see, what did I do on the inside of this one? Because apparently I didn't get this one ready. So we're going to take a inside piece here. Again, 3 5/8 by 4 7/8. I'm going to take the basic beige ink. And where did I set that? Right here. And we're going to take the cookie dough. And before I stamp that down, my basic beige is a little bit on the inky side. So I'm going to take, if you ever have this problem, I just take the back of a spoon, push the ink back into the pad. That way I'm not wasting any of the ink. I just push it down. Clean off your spoon. You could use a bone folder or something like that, but I like the spoon. And I just bought a spoon at Walmart for dirt cheap. I don't know why, I just put that away. And I keep it in there. And then now when I go to ink that down, that's not going to be super inky. And then I'm just going to stick this in the corner down here. I did not add a sentiment to the inside of this card. So I haven't decided what I want to say. And I'm going to add this right here. And then I'm going to grab an envelope. And again, I'm going to take Secret C. And the oven mitt. And then I'm going to add pumpkin pie, or pecan pie, not pumpkin pie. I'm going to put a gingerbread guy on here, of course. And then I'm also going to put the candy cane in pretty in pink. Right there. Okay. So there is our coordinating envelope. I hope you like those cards using the homemade treats. And I hope that you will look at it not just as a Christmas set, but as a year-round set worthy of your collection. All right, so let's bring back in the other card we made. And there we are. Okay, I hope you like those tonight. I will see you again next Tuesday night on Facebook here at 7 p.m. Have a great weekend, everybody. See you soon. Happy stamping.